Hey, what up, Bat fans? Batboy here. So, on October 31st, me and my dad saw Terminator Dark Fate. And this is my official opinion on it. So, my official opinion on Terminator Dark Fate. Honestly, guys, out of all the Terminator movies I have ever seen in my entire life, Dark Fate has easily taken its place as one of the worst, as actually, not one of the worst, the worst Terminator movie I have ever seen in my life. And that actually hurts, me being a huge Terminator fan. I was so hyped for this movie. I went in there with high expectations and came out extremely disappointed. Guys, oh my god. The fact that James Cameron was returning made me even more hyped for the movie. And Linda Hamilton was going to be back. Arnie was going to be back. I I was just so disappointed. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I liked it on certain parts. Actually, I think only one part. uh, I don't know. I can't take my mind on how bad this friggin' movie is. But yeah. But I'm. Let's get into the positive opinions. Low key, the only positive opinions that I liked about this movie was the fact that Linda Hamilton was going to be returning as Sarah Connor and Arnie was going to be returning as the Terminator. And low key, guys, I don't know if this movie is going to be Arnie's last role as the Terminator, and honestly, I don't know if Linda Hamilton is going to be reprising her role as Sarah Connor. If they make another Terminator movie, if they want to do it, then guys, I honestly think that James Cameron should direct the next Terminator movie if they decide to make another one. That's just my opinion. But guys, the only positive parts I liked about this movie was the fact that Linda Hamilton was in it, Arnie was in it. That's it. Um, let's talk about the negative opinions now. But oh yeah, about that. I'm about to talk about some serious parts from. I'm about to talk about certain scenes from Terminator Dark Fate. If you have not seen Terminator Dark Fate yet, stop watching because there are going to be some serious spoilers that I'm about to talk about. But if you have seen Terminator Dark Fate, enjoy the rest of the video. So, the negative parts. Oh my freaking god, where do I start? Where do I freaking start? I know, the John Connor death scene. Are you freaking kidding me? John Connor, by far the most iconic Terminator character of all time, the savior of the human frickin' resistance, and they just kill him off within 10 minutes of the movie. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking serious? When I first saw that scene, when I watched the movie, I was like, are you kidding me? They freaking killed John Connor? Oh my god. And guys, honestly, them killing off John Connor, what I think is like a giant middle finger. I think of it as a giant middle finger to us hardcore Terminator fans who... And they said that Edward Furlong was going to be playing as John Connor. Bull crap! They only used a de-aging effect on a young Edward Furlong. If they really wanted to bring Edward Furlong back into this movie, if you guys are not aware of on who Edward Furlong is, he was the guy who played John Connor in T2. I'm freaking hot. I don't even know why I'm wearing my sweater, but guys, that's my least favorite scene in the entire movie. The John Connor death scene. Oh my freaking god. I am... I did not like that scene one bit. So another negative opinion is... Since John Connor is... Wait just a freaking second. so I forgot to mention, guys. Dark Fate is actually a direct. So by far, like what I've seen, Dark Fate is actually a direct sequel to T2. So this creates a brand new timeline. So Terminator 1, Terminator 2. This is actually Terminator 3 in this new timeline. So Rise of the Machines, Salvation, Genesis, whatever, it never existed. But so how they so let me ask you guys a question. If you guys remember, back in T2, they destroyed Cyberdyne. They stopped Judgment Day. So therefore, if Cyberdyne was destroyed, Skynet could never come into existence. Therefore, the Terminators could never come into existence. Let me ask you something. If Skynet never existed, how in the heck did they send a freaking Terminator in 1998? That's the year. That's the year. If they sent another Terminator to kill John Connor, how could they do that if Skynet never existed? Oh my God, that doesn't make sense to me. So, all right, so in this new timeline, when Skynet never existed, apparently, since Skynet was never existed, like 20 years later, like this new cyber warfare thing called Legion was created, and then it became stuff where you guys already know it's this Legion thing is basically Skynet. Oh my God, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Now the new the new Terminators, the Rev 9. The Rev 9 was all right. I didn't enjoy it that much. So basically, what the Rev 9 is, it basically on the inside, it's like a normal Terminator endoskeleton, which I thought looked pretty decent, but on the outside, it looked like a liquid metal T1000 looking thing, like polymimetic, like means it can become anything it touches through physical contact. And this Grace character, which she's human, but she's actually augmented, so I think she's like cyborg or something. So and the character Danny. So turns out, oh my God, like so. All right, oh my God, I'm sorry guys, I'm just really upset on how this movie hit me. And I'm pretty sure it hit all of you guys just as hard as I did, because we're... All right, so I'll get to the rest of the negative opinions later, but I'll just name them off when I explain the ending. So the ending. So in the beginning of the movie, the Rev 9 comes in looking for the character known as Danny, and the character, like the Terminator Rev 9 comes along. It finds Danny, but then Grace, comes along later and saves her and her brother, Diego, and they try to escape from the Rev 9. They try to drive away from it, but it catches up to them and ends up killing her brother, like throwing a spear through the brother's chest. And as Grace and Danny think they're about to die, Sarah Connor comes along and just freaking like blows it up with a bazooka, and she says, "I'll be back." And I honestly loved hearing Linda Hamilton saying that. That was a positive opinion. But so how is Sarah Connor? How did Sarah Connor know how to find them? So after Grace becomes unconscious, because since she's technically still a human, she needs to have like some sort of like medication in order to sustain her augmentation. So when they go to a hotel, Sarah Connor like points a how do I say this? Points a squirt thing, like a squirt gun at her face. I was like, "Start talking," and Grace comes to. She disarms Sarah Connor. She was like, "You first," and then she says, "My name is Sarah Connor," and then she says she hunts Terminators. So she explains that after, she explains that her son died. Like, she gets random texts from this anonymous person, like coordinates to new Terminators arriving in the future. She goes there to destroy them, and at the end of the text it says, "For John." And I was like, huh. And then she's like, and I'm like, so, like in the movie said, she's a Terminator hunter. And then they try to, they make this plan to stop the Rev 9, and they actually decide to go to the person who is responsible for sending the text. Um, they get captured by the Border Patrol. They end up escaping after, and then they end up going to the person's house. And guess who it is? Guess who is the person behind all those texts? Freaking Arnie. But wait, there's more! Arnie is actually the same freaking Terminator who killed John Connor. I'm not kidding. And guess what became of Arnold? Since the Terminator was never reprogrammed, it completed its mission, and I was just wondering, and I became curious myself. Since this Terminator was never reprogrammed, whatever happened to it? Turns out it became a Family Guy. Da 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 da. Sorry, that was a bad joke, but it became a family man. Specifically, he met someone. He met a woman, and he adopted her son. I was like, oh my goodness! And then he actually got a job as a guy who like does drapes. I'm like, oh my god, that just made no sense to me. And then I honestly didn't like. I mean, it was actually pretty interesting to see how a Terminator, would go out with it the rest of its life, knowing its mission was completed, and it actually built a conscience all by itself. So the Terminator and it goes by Carl, by the way. So Carl decides to help Grace, Sarah, and protect Danny, and then the Rev 9 catches up with them. A huge battle ensues. They end up going into a plane where they fight the Rev 9, and as the Terminator and the Rev 9, duke it out. After the battle, the Rev 9 is knocked out of the helicopter. Like, Carl is just hanging on for dear life, and Sarah just looks at him and just walks away. I was like, yeah, like she was not about to help him up because he oofed her son, but and then after they crash into like this huge base, another huge battle ensues. Arnie and Grace, fight the Rev 9, and then, like after a huge long battle, they finally stop the Rev 9. How, you may ask? Turns out they can only destroy it through electromagnetic pulses, or EMPs, and Grace's power source has like an electromagnetic pulse, or EMP, inside of it. So Grace ended up, dying because she sacrificed herself, to get the EMP thing, get it close to the Rev 9, stick it right in its head. It starts freaking out and spazzing out, electrifying. And then a badly, heavily damaged Arnie, grabs it, like drags it down to somewhere. Like the Rev 9 tries to get back up, it grabs it, and as it's about to blow up, like the Terminator says, "For John," and then a huge explosion. The Rev 9 is finally defeated, and Arnie ends up, dying as well. And the last thing he sees is like scan mode, like Sarah Connor and Danny. I actually liked how they, repeated the same, like recreated the same, power down mode from T2. After Terminator is, dropped into the lava, like. I thought that was pretty cool, but and then lo and behold, turns out they actually found a younger Grace. Yeah. Turns out, I was like, how the heck is she still alive? So, technically, technically speaking, that was actually her future self that died. Her past self is still alive. And then, as Danny says, I'm not going to let her die for me again. They drive off away, and that is the end of the movie. I probably butchered how I explained the ending. For that, I apologize. But guys, I was just so upset on how this movie turned out. This movie was such a huge disappointment to me. I liked certain parts of it, like I explained earlier. I did not like this movie one bit. So, yeah, just give me a second. All right. So, after, watching this movie, going in with high expectations and coming out extremely disappointed, I have come to the ultimate decision. Terminator Dark Fate, I regret to inform you that you have been awarded the official Bat Boy seal of disapproval. I am so disappointed in Dark Fate. I honestly thought that I was going to enjoy this movie, which honestly I really did sometimes, but I just did not enjoy this movie at all. Mostly I did not enjoy this movie. And also Terminator Dark Fate, it gives me no pleasure in saying this, but Terminator Dark Fate, you suck. Anyway, guys, that is the end of the video. Oh, what the heck was that? Oh, I don't know. But guys, that was my official opinion on Terminator Dark Fate. Am I going to get the Blu-ray when it comes out? Probably, because I'm such a huge Terminator fan. I actually want to collect all the movies, so I'll probably end up picking it up when it comes out. But like I said, guys, Terminator Dark Fate, you have been awarded the seal of disapproval, and again, it gives me no pleasure in saying this, but you suck. But anyway, guys, that is the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.